Hi everyone. So a lot of people ask me, what do you do? I tell human stories. And some of them will be like, so you're like a kindergarten teacher? And not really. So we document and interview people from all walks of life, and we compress their stories into 1 minute video, and we post them on social media. Also, you're like an influencer. So throughout the past 10 years, the world has changed so much. The word influencers has gotten so general that anyone who posts things online with a certain followings are an influencer. And today itself, we have 3 influencers, including me who are speaking. We have Chris, who share about his experience of growing up as a Chindian through a comedic way. To me, that's cultural education. And we have Sai here today who thinks that anything in Penang is better. Again, he's exploiting Penang and create discussion among Malaysia on the comparison. To me, Chris and Sai, they are educator, they are trendsetter. Instead of influencer, I think they are more of a Malaysian advocate. They make Malaysians understand what being a Malaysian means. So a lot of you might be thinking, Shi Han, I get what you mean, but why do you care about titles and labels so much? So this was the later me. I grew up in a small town in Kedah called Alostar, and my parents grew up all their life there, so they didn't know much about what is happening outside of Alostar. Their knowledge are fed by, oh, your uncle said that you have to study in KL to have a bright future, and your cousin said that you have to study architect because architect earns a lot of money. And so the source of information are uncles, cousins, neighbors, the TV hosts. That was during my time now when there was no social media. So I proceeded to study architecture. After 5 years of architecture, I graduated with I proceeded to study architecture, thinking that city equals to bright future and architects equals to money. So I proceeded to study architecture. After 5 years of architecture, I graduated with first class honor, thinking that I'm one step closer to become the rich and famous architect in Malaysia. And in order to do that, remember this formula? City equals to bright future and architects equals to money. So what if I go to a bigger city? So I packed my bag and went to Singapore to work as a full-time architect for 2 years. So if city equals to bright future and architect equals to money, big city equals to very bright future. So big city plus architect equals to very bright future and a lot of money. So did the formula work? Of course it didn't, or I won't be standing here today. So let me go through one by one. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with city. But the daily commute of the day-to-day commute of going to work, going back home, and we do it all over again was not for me. And it might be perfect for somebody else, but not me. And when we were studying in architecture, we were told that we could change the world with architecture. But when we started working, you notice that you can't really change the world with drawing toilets and checking the sizes of the beams and columns all day. Maybe you can, but in 30 years. And about the money part, yeah. So I quit my job and I got a job to work in a resort in Langkawi. And that's where I found out some really interesting people who are chasing their dreams in an unconventional ways, and they're able to make it work. We have met some of the friends who started their cafes with an initial budget of 6,000 ringgit. There are surfers who sell coffee in the morning and work and surf throughout the days. And there are mothers who started her artist journey at the age of 50s. So I decided to embark on a journey to look for an answer, my answer, a formula that fits me. So I decided to give myself a project to write a book on Langkawi. And so me and my partner moved to Langkawi, we shipped our car in and started to interview people, asking them how they do what they do. So the time we spent in Langkawi were amazing. We met some of the most amazing people. And there are naturalists who brought them on tours. And we met some of the few Mengkuang weavers left in Malaysia, in some small island around Langkawi, and even get to witness the building of floating Airbnbs, the whole process, and managed to take some photos of it. And the experiences were so priceless. So after we interviewed all these people, and we even got to some of the top 5-star hotels in a world that we probably won't be able to afford. And when we're interviewing people, we noticed how interesting the stories is. And our partner Jay was like, we should start posting their stories on social media so that it can reach more life. So the first video we posted is about lemang making. I still remember we posted on 23rd April 2023, last year. And the video did pretty well. And we continued to post another story of our friends who started a vegan cafe in Langkawi. And this video went viral. This video got us from 200 followers to 10,000 followers in 2 weeks. And that was when we noticed the power of providing possibilities and ideas to inspire people to do things outside of the regular norms set by the society. So let me share with you 3 stories so you can get a clearer idea. Story number 1 is Kolma Cafe, the story that went viral. It's about Taufik and Julia. So Taufik was originally from Sungai Petani, Kedah, and he worked in KL for 5 years before deciding to move to Langkawi because he loves the lifestyle there. And Julia was a vegan since young. She was from Austria, and she loves to experiment with vegan recipe to make vegan food. So they found an abandoned house in Langkawi and decided to rent it and renovate it into a cafe when they only have 6,000 ringgit. So let's see what they do with the 6,000 ringgit. So they hire some concrete maker and learn the concrete making from them, and they make the concrete counter themselves. And for the table, they hire some steel maker to make the table leg, and they bought some timber planks from hardware store to make into the tabletop. And most of the furniture are treated. And look at the space they've created, and look at the crowd they have. It is exactly because of the limitation they have, they are able to create this amazing space. So they have created their own formula where limitation equals to possibility. So let me share you story number 2, Han the surfer. So this is Han. He is originally from KL. He moved to Langkawi 10 years ago, and he fell in love with surfing 6 years ago. So he sells coffee in the morning and surf throughout the day. So Han knew he didn't want to be in the corporate system since he was 24 years old. And when he found his calling in surfing, he wanted to have a lifestyle of a surfer. But how did he sustain his life? So as he was training as a barista in Melbourne during his backpacking days, he decided to sell coffee only in the morning so he get to surf throughout the days. As for surfing, you need to work with the nature. You need to be patient to wait for the wave and follow its timing. So Han created a whole lifestyle that he want, knowing what he want, knowing his passion, and he built the career around it. So lifestyle first, then career. Throughout all my life, I was taught that to have my hobby, like writing or drawings, I can only do my hobbies on weekends or after work. But Han has shown us that you can actually create the lifestyle you want first, and then you plan your career around it. So Han has created his own formula, lifestyle first, then career. Story number 3, indigo dye artist. So this is Yan. Yan is a mother, she's a daughter, she's a wife, and she got a new title for herself, an indigo dye artist, at the age of 51. So she went to Guizhou, China, to learn about the history and the basic of indigo dyeing, and she went to Sabah, Vietnam, to learn and experience about the indigo leaves harvesting. So Yan was an artist when in her 20s, but after she got married, she became a full-time mom, and now her daughters are all grown. She decided to embark on her journey to become an artist. And she had a solo show in Langkawi named Journey, where the whole art installation is created by her, and she self dyed the whole installation. So the whole artwork is inspired by her journey of being a wife and a mother. So Yan has shown us that you can break the norm that society set for you. Yan showed us that who said you can't pursue your dreams when you're a mother? Who said you have to retire at the age of 50? So you see, Yan has created her own formula too. She shows us that no matter what your background is, we should use that as a superpower to fund our future. She has created a formula where your background is your superpower. So you must be thinking, so what about your own story, Shi Han? How you found your formulas? So after talking and interviewing to so many people, I think I found my formulas too. I basically just combine all their formulas and make it my own. So limitation equals to possibilities. So when we tell people that we are moving to Langkawi, they're like, Langkawi? So this is the Langkawi that everybody knows. What are you going to do there? What stories are you covering? But it's exactly this limitation and the doubts and questions that push me and give me the bravery to do that, because I want to show them this is the Langkawi I see. These are the possibilities. Lifestyle over career. And through interviewing, telling stories, and sharing all the stories online, I think we have really found what we really want to do. We have received DM messages, emails telling us how all this story has inspired them. And we have found that these are something that we want to do for the rest of our lives. But how do we make it into career? So we started talking to brands, we convinced them so that they could sponsor us to cover these stories. And we are not only inspiring lives, by covering small businesses stories, inspiring individuals, we're actually helping their business, helping them grow and give exposure to them as well. So did I regret studying my 5 years of architecture and work 2 years as a full-time? Not at all. Because there's one lesson that is the most important thing I've learned throughout my life through the 5 years of study is how to self-taught anything I want. So without the 5 years of study, this won't be possible. And it has been 1.5 years since we started doing this, from growing from 200 followers to 85, almost 55,000 followers today. It's all because of these formulas. So I think through this journey of just booking a one-way ticket to go to Langkawi, I think I found my formulas. So I'll just leave you and question today, what is yours? Thank you.